A midnight chime from a dead clock unleashes a family's hunt for a war's hidden son. Secrets unravel. A loyal dog leads the way. Like and subscribe to catch this thrilling tale in our latest videos. A deafening crash shattered the silence as the Bennett family's last crate smashed through the mansion's rotting threshold, the Gothic estate's walls swallowing them whole. Lucas, 40, grizzled and wired, kicked debris aside, his pulse racing under the weight of their new start, while Clara, his wife, wrestled their teens, Sophie and Noah, to haul boxes into the dust-choked foyer. Shadow, their German shepherd, tore past, snarling, nose to the ground, as if the house's shadows were alive and hunting. The air reeked of decay, chandeliers swaying in the draft. But this inherited relic from Lucas's great-grandfather, a man reduced to whispers in a single faded photo, was their lifeline after the city chewed them up. Lucas's eyes locked on the grand staircase, where a monstrous pendulum clock towered, its hands jammed at 12 pendulum dead, its oak frame carved with snarling lions. That thing's cursed. Noah spat, slinging his bag down. But Shadow's guttural growl drowned him out. The dog's fangs bared, claws gouging the clock's base like it was bleeding. Clara's voice cracked. He's freaking out. But Lucas's skin prickled, a scream trapped in his chest, as if the house was watching. Darkness fell like a blade, and by 9 p.m., the family sprawled in sleeping bags on the living room's warped floor, too rattled to climb the creaking stairs. Shadow was a coiled spring, circling the clock, whining, then barking, sharp and relentless, his eyes glowing with feral purpose. Lucas hurled a boot. Shadow shut it, but the dog lunged, snapping at the air, making Sophie shrink back. He's possessed, she hissed, as Noah's flashlight swept the clock, its glass pulsing red like a heartbeat. Midnight hit, and the house roared awake. A bone-crushing hum erupted from the clock, shaking the foundation, windows rattling, dust raining from the ceiling. Shadow exploded, slamming into the clock, claws shredding wood, teeth ripping at its base, barking like he was tearing through hell itself. Lucas stumbled to his feet, heart jackhammering. Shadow, stop! But a searing white flash blinded them, and a single apocalyptic chime detonated, splintering a chandelier, glass shards flying. Clara screamed, blood trickling from a cut on her cheek, as Sophie and Noah clung to each other, the pendulum lurching into motion, swinging with a screech, like nails on a coffin. Shadow didn't waver, ripping the clock's lower panel clean off, wood exploding, revealing a hidden compartment, a wooden box, its lion and cross crest glowing faintly, sat inside, radiating heat that burned Lucas's fingers as he grabbed it. Clara's cry, "Don't," was lost in Shadow's frenzied howl, and Lucas tore the lid open, hinges shrieking. Inside, a nightmare letter soaked in dried blood, a photo of a boy with hollow eyes, a military medal etched with occult symbols, and a child's drawing of a house engulfed in flames, figures screaming. Lucas clutched the photo, its edges charred, the boy's face a twisted mirror of his own. "What is this?" Sophie choked, but Shadow was already gone, tearing up the staircase, claws skidding, his barks a war cry. Shadow Lucas roared, sprinting after, the family scrambling behind, flashlights slashing through the dark. Shadow halted on the second floor, savaging a wall panel, plaster crumbling, revealing a rusted key, its crest matching the box. The clock below bellowed another chime, its rhythm a death knell, shaking the walls. "It's alive," Noah yelled, but a bone-chilling screech metal, tearing stone erupted from the attic. Shadow's hackles spiked, his snarl locked on the ceiling, where footsteps, heavy and wrong, stomped closer. Lucas gripped the key, its edges slicing his palm, blood dripping. As Shadow bolted for the attic stairs, a spiral of splintered wood. "Stay back," Lucas shouted. But Clara's defiance, like hell, and the kids' pounding feet followed. The attic door was blown wide, frost coating its frame, Shadow's barks echoing in a labyrinth of crates and cobwebs. Lucas's flashlight caught Shadow ripping at a steel-bound trunk, its lock snapping under his jaws. The footsteps stopped, replaced by a wet, scraping gurgle from a shadowed wall, where a vent grill buckled, claws scraping behind it. Shadow, get back. Lucas screamed, but the dog tore the trunk open. A blood-stained journal and a shredded photo spilling out the boy, now a soldier, his face carved with scars. The vent burst, grill smashing the floor, and a blast of rotting air hit Lucas, carrying a voice, rasping. Peter, find him. Lucas reeled, Shadow lunging at the black maw in the wall, where eyes too many glinted, and a clawed arm, bone-thin and twisted, slashed out. Ripping Lucas's sleeve, blood spraying, he screamed, shoving Shadow aside, the key skittering into the dark. The journal flipped open, ink crawling like worms. Peter, I damned us. The attic shuddered, beams snapping, and Shadow's barks turned to wails, his body shielding Lucas as the ceiling caved. Below, the clock's chimes became a howl, and Clara's shriek, "It's coming," tore through the house. Lucas snatched the journal, dragging Shadow down the collapsing stairs, blood and dust choking him. The house no longer a home, but a predator. And Peter's secret, its beating heart. A deafening crash shattered the silence as the Bennett family's last crate smashed through the mansion's rotting threshold, the Gothic estate's walls swallowing them whole. Lucas, 40, grizzled and wired, kicked debris aside, his pulse racing under the weight of their new start, while Clara, his wife, wrestled their teens, Sophie and Noah, to haul boxes into the dust-choked foyer. Shadow, their German shepherd, tore past, snarling, nose to the ground, as if the house's shadows were alive and hunting. The air reeked of decay, chandeliers swaying in the draft. But this inherited relic from Lucas's great-grandfather, a man reduced to whispers in a single faded photo, was their lifeline after the city chewed them up. Lucas's eyes locked on the grand staircase, where a monstrous pendulum clock towered, its hands jammed at 12 pendulum dead, its oak frame carved with snarling lions. That thing's cursed. Noah spat, slinging his bag down, but Shadow's guttural growl drowned him out. The dog's fangs bared, claws gouging the clock's base like it was bleeding. Clara's voice cracked. He's freaking out. But Lucas's skin prickled, a scream trapped in his chest, as if the house was watching. Darkness fell like a blade, and by 9 p.m., the family sprawled in sleeping bags on the living room's warped floor, too rattled to climb the creaking stairs. Shadow was a coiled spring, circling the clock, whining, then barking, sharp and relentless, his eyes glowing with feral purpose. Lucas hurled a boot. Shadow shut it, but the dog lunged, snapping at the air, making Sophie shrink back. He's possessed, she hissed, as Noah's flashlight swept the clock, its glass pulsing red, like a heartbeat. Midnight hit, and the house roared awake. A bone-crushing hum erupted from the clock, shaking the foundation, windows rattling, dust raining from the ceiling. Shadow exploded, slamming into the clock, claws shredding wood, teeth ripping at its base, barking like he was tearing through hell itself. Lucas stumbled to his feet, heart jackhammering. Shadow, stop. But a searing white flash blinded them, and a single apocalyptic chime detonated, splintering a chandelier, glass shards flying. Clara screamed, blood trickling from a cut on her cheek, as Sophie and Noah clung to each other, the pendulum lurching into motion, swinging with a screech, like nails on a coffin. Shadow didn't waver, ripping the clock's lower panel clean off, wood exploding, revealing a hidden compartment, a wooden box, its lion and cross crest glowing faintly, sat inside, radiating heat that burned Lucas's fingers as he grabbed it. Clara's cry, "Don't," was lost in Shadow's frenzied howl, and Lucas tore the lid open, hinges shrieking. Inside, a nightmare letters soaked in dried blood, a photo of a boy with hollow eyes, a military medal etched with occult symbols, and a child's drawing of a house engulfed in flames, figures screaming. Lucas clutched the photo, its edges charred, the boy's face a twisted mirror of his own. "What is this?" Sophie choked. But Shadow was already gone, tearing up the staircase, claws skidding, his barks a war cry. Shadow Lucas roared, sprinting after, the family scrambling behind, flashlights slashing through the dark. Shadow halted on the second floor, savaging a wall panel, plaster crumbling, revealing a rusted key, its crest matching the box. The clock below bellowed another chime, its rhythm a death knell, shaking the walls. "It's alive," Noah yelled. But a bone-chilling screech metal, tearing stone erupted from the attic. Shadow's hackles spiked, his snarl locked on the ceiling, where footsteps, heavy and wrong, stomped closer. Lucas gripped the key, its edges slicing his palm, blood dripping. As Shadow bolted for the attic stairs, a spiral of splintered wood. "Stay back," Lucas shouted. But Clara's defiance like hell and the kids' pounding feet followed. The attic door was blown wide, frost coating its frame. Shadow's barks echoing in a labyrinth of crates and cobwebs. Lucas's flashlight caught Shadow ripping at a steel-bound trunk, its locks snapping under his jaws. The footsteps stopped, replaced by a wet, scraping gurgle from a shadowed wall, where a vent grill buckled, claws scraping behind it. "Shadow, get back!" Lucas screamed, but the dog tore the trunk open, a blood-stained journal and a shredded photo spilling out the boy. Now a soldier, his face carved with scars. The vent burst, grills smashing the floor, and a blast of rotting air hit Lucas, carrying a voice, rasping, "Peter, find him." Lucas reeled, Shadow lunging at the black maw in the wall, where eyes too many glinted, and a clawed arm, bone-thin and twisted, slashed out, ripping Lucas's sleeve, blood spraying. He screamed, shoving Shadow aside, the key skittering into the dark. The journal flipped open, ink crawling like worms. "Peter, I damned us." The attic shuddered, beams snapping, and Shadow's barks turned to wails, his body shielding Lucas as the ceiling caved. Below, the clock's chimes became a howl, and Clara's shriek, "It's coming," tore through the house. Lucas snatched the journal, dragging Shadow down the collapsing stairs, blood and dust choking him. The house no longer a home, but a predator, and Peter's secret its beating heart. Shadow's claws tore into the crawlspace's dirt floor, his barks sharp and frantic, urging Lucas forward as the mansion's walls groaned, the clock's guttural roar shaking the foundation. Lucas crawled, blood seeping from his arm, the journal and key heavy in his grip. Clara, Sophie, and Noah scraping behind, their flashlights flickering in the choking dark. The crawlspace was a suffocating tunnel, its air thick with rot, walls scratched with desperate marks, like something had clawed for freedom. Shadow's nose twitched, leading them through a maze of splintered beams, his fur bristling as a wet, scraping sound claws on stone echoed from above. Too close. Lucas's heart pounded, the key's lion and cross crest biting his palm, Sophie's map clutched in her trembling hand, its final mark pointing to a false wall in the ballroom. The clock's roar spiked, a deafening scream, and the tunnel shuddered, dirt raining, threatening to bury them. Shadow surged ahead, slamming into a rusted grate, his jaws snapping, metal bending under his weight. Lucas kicked it free, the grate clattering into a cavernous basement, its air icy, reeking of mildew. They tumbled out, flashlights sweeping, catching glints of broken crates and rusted tools scattered across the damp floor. Shadow didn't pause, tearing toward a pile of rotting wood, claws shredding, barking like he was possessed. Lucas joined, smashing boards, revealing a metal box, its lid welded, etched with the same line and cross. The key grated in the lock, and Lucas pried it open, heart jackhammering, spilling a blood-crusted knife, a soldier's cap, and a crumpled note. The woodshed hides the last truth. Clara's breath hitched, grabbing the knife, its blade unnaturally cold, while Noah unfolded the note, his voice shaking. It's a warning, something about a curse. Shadow's snarl cut through, his ears flattening, nose pointing to a corner where a rusted hatch lay, half buried in dirt. Lucas attacked it, muscles burning, bolts snapping, revealing a tunnel, its walls scrawled with frantic ink. They'll kill him. The clock's scream grew feral, walls cracking, and a new sound: footsteps. Heavy, wrong thundered above, splintering the basement ceiling. Sophie's flashlight caught a shadow, its edges blurring. Too many limbs, moving fast. Go! Lucas roared, shoving the family into the tunnel, Shadow leading, his barks a war cry. The tunnel twisted, air freezing, and they emerged in the woodshed, its door barred, walls stained dark with old blood. Shadow clawed at a false panel, boards snapping under his frenzy, and Lucas tore it down, exposing an alcove with a child's shoe, a broken watch, and a wax-sealed letter. Clara broke the seal, reading aloud. Peter escaped, but the curse binds the house. The words landed like a blade, but the shed's door buckled, wood splintering, and Shadow's barks turned to wails, his body trembling, facing the door as the shadow loomed, its countless eyes glinting through cracks. Lucas gripped the knife, its chill searing his hand, and pushed the family behind him. The clock screamed, now a howl, the mansion quaking, dust choking the air. Sophie clutched the map, her voice breaking. The ballroom, it's the last mark. Shadow lunged at the shed's floor, digging frantically, claws throwing dirt, revealing a trap door, its hinges fused with rust. Lucas forced it open, the shadow's claws ripping through the door, shards flying, and they dropped into another crawl space. Shadow racing ahead, his barks desperate, guiding them through a labyrinth of rotting beams. The walls pulsed, the clock's howl vibrating Lucas's bones, and Clara's flashlight caught a glint, a hidden panel in the crawl space, marked with a lion's head. Lucas pried it open, revealing a bundle of letters, their ink smeared with blood. Peter's truth is the house's heart. The hunters never stopped. Noah's scream, "It's behind us," jerked Lucas around. The shadow's rasp, find him slithering through the dark, its claws grazing the tunnel's walls. Shadow spun, snarling, teeth bared, buying Lucas time to grab the letters, their weight heavy with dread. The crawl space narrowed, forcing them to crawl single file. The shadow's claws scraping closer, the clock's howl a countdown. Shadow's barks grew faint, his body straining, leading them to a final grate. Its bars bent, opening to the ballroom's underfloor, a vast, shadowed space. Lucas kicked through, the family spilling out, flashlights sweeping the ballroom's cracked marble, its chandeliers swaying, reflecting the clock's red glow from the foyer. Shadow clawed at a false wall, its plaster crumbling, and Lucas attacked, revealing a hidden niche, its contents a gut punch, a bloody dog tag, a child's drawing of a burning family, and a final letter: Peter lives, but the house will kill to keep him. The shadow's screech erupted, the false wall exploding, and Shadow lunged, teeth sinking into something unseen, his wails piercing as the clock's howl stopped, replaced by silence, and the house itself seemed to breathe, its curse tightening, the hunters now steps away. The ballroom's false wall exploded in a shower of plaster. Shadow's teeth sunk into an unseen force, his wails piercing as Lucas shoved Clara, Sophie, and Noah behind him, the bloodied knife raised, its icy blade humming in his grip. The mansion's silence was a predator's pause, the clock's red glow pulsing through the foyer, casting jagged shadows that writhed like living things. Shadow's fur bristled, his snarl locked on the shattered wall, where the air shimmered, the shadow's countless eyes fading. But its rasp find him lingered, clawing at Lucas's mind. The dog tag, child's drawing, and letter lay scattered at his feet. Peter's name a curse binding the house, its walls groaning, chandeliers rattling overhead. Sophie clutched the map, her voice cracking. The letter said Peter lives. What does it want? Noah's flashlight swept the ballroom, catching a glint in the debris, a rusted locket, half buried, its lion and cross crests glowing faintly. Lucas lunged for it, prying it open, revealing a faded photo of a woman, her eyes fierce, holding a baby labeled Peter, 1942. Clara's breath hitched, grabbing the letter, its ink bleeding. The war burned us, but Peter's blood is the house's chain. Shadow's sudden bark snapped them back, his nose twitching, bolting toward the ballroom's far wall, claws shredding a velvet curtain, revealing a hidden door, its frame carved with snarling lions. Lucas rammed it, wood splintering, the knife's chill searing his palm, and they spilled into a narrow corridor, its air thick with ash, walls scrawled with frantic warnings. The hunters know. Shadow raced ahead, barks echoing, leading them to a locked iron gate, its bars etched with occult runes. The key grated in the lock, metal screaming, and the gate swung open, revealing a stone chamber, its floor stained dark, a single table holding a tattered war diary and a blood-crusted medal. Clara flipped the diary open, her hands shaking. Reading aloud, Peter was born in secret, his mother a resistance fighter, hunted by traitors who burned our village. I hid him here, but the curse followed. Lucas's stomach twisted, his great-grandfather's shame was a war crime, Peter's existence a scandal buried in blood. Shadow's growl deepened, his ears flattening, and he clawed at the chamber's floor, dirt flying, uncovering a metal box, its lid welded, etched with a lion's roar. Lucas pried it open with the knife, metal screeching, spilling a faded map of a battlefield, a soldier's farewell letter, and a photograph of Peter. Now a young man, his face scarred, standing beside a burning tank. The letter's words burned. They killed her to silence me. Peter, forgive me. The clock's hum surged, a bone-rattling roar, and the chamber shook, stones cracking, dust choking the air. Shadow's barks turned frantic, his nose pointing to a shadowed corner, where a trapdoor lay, its hinges fused with rust. Lucas forced it open, the knife's blade glowing faintly, and they dropped into a lower vault, its walls lined with rusted weapons, their blades etched with the same runes. Shadow lunged at a crate, claws splintering wood, revealing a bundle of letters tied with twine, their ink smeared with blood. The hunters are eternal. Peter's truth must die. Clara's scream. Someone's here jerked Lucas around, his flashlight catching a figure in the vault's entrance. Cloaked, face hidden, moving too fast. Shadow spun, snarling, teeth bared, but the figure vanished, leaving a single object, a rusted key, identical to Lucas's, glinting on the floor. Noah grabbed it, his voice shaking. It's a trap. The clock's roar spiked, the vault's walls pulsing, and a new sound scratching, like claws on metal erupted from above. Sophie's flashlight swept the ceiling, catching a glint, a vent grill buckling, claws scraping behind it. Lucas shoved the family toward a side passage, Shadow leading, his barks desperate. As the grill burst, a gust of rotting air hitting them, carrying a voice Peter's blood. The passage twisted, air freezing, and they emerged in the mansion's kitchen, its windows boarded, counters caked with grime. Shadow clawed at a pantry door, wood splintering, revealing a hidden stairwell, its steps slick with mold. Lucas led the way, the knife raised, the second key heavy in his pocket. The diaries weighed a chain. The stairwell opened to a loft, its walls papered with yellowed newspaper clippings, war reports, missing persons, a village burned to ash. Shadow tore at a loose floorboard, claws throwing dirt, and Lucas pried it up, revealing a tin box, its lid etched with a cross. Inside, a child's toy soldier, a bloodied ribbon, and a final letter. Peter escaped to the city, but the house holds his soul. The clock's roar stopped, replaced by a low hum, and the loft's door slammed shut, trapping them. Clara's flashlight caught a shadow outside the window, a cloaked figure, its eyes glinting, gone in a blink. Shadow's wails filled the air, his body trembling, facing the door as footsteps human. Deliberate approached, the second key burning in Lucas's hand, the house's curse tightening, and the stranger's presence a new threat. Peter's war secrets unraveling into a nightmare they couldn't outrun. Lucas slammed the knife into the loft's doorframe, splintering wood, Shadow's barks exploding as footsteps thundered closer. The second key burning in his pocket. Clara, Sophie, and Noah scrambling for cover behind a crate, flashlights shaking. The mansion's hum, a feral growl. Shadow lunged, teeth bared, claws raking the door, and Lucas kicked it open, blade raised, shouting, "Show yourself." Cloaked figure ducked, hands up, flashlight dropping a woman, 60s, grizzled, shouting, "Ellen, journalist, don't stab me." Shadow circled, snarling, but held back, nose twitching. Lucas grabbed her collar, knife to her throat. "Why are you here?" Ellen shoved a notebook at him, voice steady. "Tracking Peter to your great-grandfather's hidden son. War secret. Village burned to bury it." Clara snatched the notebook, flipping pages, yelling, "Hunters, what are they?" Ellen ripped free, dodging Shadow's snap. War traitors, maybe worse still after him. The mansion shook, windows exploding, glass slashing Lucas's arm, blood spraying, a rasp hissing, Peter's blood. Shadow tore at the floor, claws shredding, revealing a crawl space, walls scrawled with Peter lives. Lucas shoved Ellen inside, family diving after, Shadow leading, barks echoing, as claws ripped the loft ceiling, a shadow with too many eyes screeching, the crawl space twisted, dirt collapsing, Lucas crawling, knife slashing roots, Sophie's phone glowing, her fingers flying, posting photos, letters, dog tag, diary with hashtag Peter Legacy, screaming, "Help us, we're hunted." The mansion's hum roared, walls cracking, and Shadow slammed a rusted grate, jaws snapping, metal bending. Lucas kicked it free, tumbling into a library, shelves crashing, books flying, Shadow clawing a desk, wood splintering. Lucas jammed the key in, yanking drawers, spilling a photo album, Peter as a boy, teen, soldier, scarred, next to a woman with a cross necklace. Clara tore out a letter, shouting. Peter fled. House traps his soul, Noah's yell. "It's here," spun Lucas. Shadow's claws bursting through the ceiling, dust blinding, Shadow lunging, teeth sinking into air, screeching recoil. Ellen ripped a rune-etched book, tossing pages, yelling. Wards move. The Shadow shrieked, retreating. But the library's doors buckled, wood exploding, Shadow's barks desperate, clawing a bookshelf, toppling it, revealing a stone stairwell. Lucas slashed the knife, clearing debris, shoving the family down, Ellen tripping, flashlight smashing, darkness swallowing them, Shadow's claws scraping above. The stairwell spiraled, steps slick, Lucas is slipping, knife clanging, Shadow racing, barks guiding, opening to a crypt, lion-carved walls glowing red, an altar with a bloodied locket and letter. Lucas pried the altar, Shadow clawing, revealing a child's drawing Peter, a woman, burning house. Clara read the letter, voice breaking, Break the curse or die. The crypt's entrance rattled, shadow spinning, snarling, not at the shadow but a cloaked human, eyes glinting, vanishing. Lucas grabbed the locket, key scorching, and shadow toward a wall, bricks crumbling, exposing a tunnel, air freezing, walls pulsing. The family sprinted, Ellen lagging, shadows rasp, find him chasing, claws grazing Noah's back, blood soaking his shirt. Sophie's phone buzzed. Hashtag Peter Legacy trending. Strangers posting war files. A 1970 photo of Peter. Alive. Lucas slashed vines. Tunnel narrowing. Shadows barks weakening. His body straining. Leading to a rusted gate. Half open. Opening to a cellar. Its floor flooded. Crates floating. Shadow leaped. Claws splashing. Ripping a crate. Spilling a bloody journal. Its pages screaming. Peter's truth is the house's heart. The shadow's claws burst the gate, water surging. Lucas swinging the knife, grazing something solid. Screeching retreat. Clara grabbed the journal. Noah shoving crates, revealing a hidden panel. Lion etched. Key fitting. Grinding. Opening a niche with a soldier's ring. Engraved Peter, 1943. The cellar shook, ceiling cracking, Shadow's eyes glinting, Ellen shouting, "Run!" Shadow's wails led to a ladder, rusted, creaking, Lucas climbing, knife between teeth, family scrambling, Shadow's claws slashing the ladder, metal snapping. They burst into a hallway, doors boarded, Shadow clawing a trapdoor, Lucas kicking it open, dropping into a storage room, crates of war relics, medals, letters, photos of Peter, all marked traitor. The Shadow's screech followed, walls splitting, and Sophie's phone lit up. Community posts flooding names, dates, a lead to Peter's descendant. Shadow collapsed, panting, blood on his fur, and Lucas gripped the knife. The house's curse a noose. Ellen's words, their eternal ringing. The Shadow inches away, and the online world their last shot. Lucas smashed through the storage room's trapdoor, knife flashing in his bloodied grip, Shadow's faltering barks driving them forward as the mansion's walls quaked. The Shadow's claws shredding the hallway above, its screech slicing the air. Clara clutched the journal, Sophie's phone blazing with community posts. Noah slamming crates of war relics, medals, letters, photos of Peter branded traitor to barricade the trap door. Ellen's flashlight darting, her shout sharp. They're gaining her, and house's hum roared. A living beast. And Lucas hacked a boarded window, glass exploding, shoving Clara, Sophie, Noah, and Ellen into the icy night. Shadow staggering, blood soaking his fur, yet still charging, claws raking the frozen grass. The Shadow's eyes burned from the mansion's windows, its rasp Peter's blood snapping at their heels, and Lucas sprinted, knife raised, herding the family to their battered SUV, engine snarling, tires screaming as they peeled out. The house's red glow haunting the rear view. Sophie's phone buzzed, posts flooding a lad, James Bennett, Peter's grandson, 80, living 200 miles away in a coastal town, tied to a 1970 photo of Peter. Clara's voice broke. "We're going to him." Lucas floored the Shadow wheezing in the back, eyes fading, but his tail thumped, urging them on. The drive blurred, highway streaking, Sophie uploading photos journal, dog tag, ring her single post tagged, #Peter Legacy, begging for help, drawing thousands of replies, war records, village maps, a 1980 video of a scarred man like Peter. Ellen tore through the journal, yelling over the roar. Peter outran the hunters, but the house's curse traps his soul. James might know how to end it. The SUV skidded into the coastal town at dawn, Shadow's whimpers barely audible, his body shaking, and Lucas hoisted him, heart pounding, to a weathered cottage, its door swinging open to James, face carved with scars, eyes echoing Peter's. Clara thrust the journal forward, shouting, "You're his grandson. Talk." James's hands trembled, gripping the dog tag and ring. Voice rough. "Grandfather hid me. Said the house kills to guard its secret." He waved them inside. Walls plastered with war, photos Peter as soldier. Father, haunted. Shadow slumped by the hearth, claws scraping a floorboard, and Lucas ripped it free, revealing a tin box, lion and cross etched on its lid, the key seared, grinding in the lock, spilling a letter, a child's clock drawing, and a rusted gear, runes carved deep. James's voice cracked. "That's the mansion's clock gear. Peter said it was locked to seal the curse." Sophie's phone pinged a historian's post claiming Peter's unit was betrayed, hunted by occult traitors. The curse bound to the clock. The cottage shook, windows splintering, a rotting gust blasting through. The shadows screech, Peter's soul erupting. Shadow staggered up, teeth snapping, and Lucas swung the knife, slashing air. The shadow recoiling, James yelling, "Get to the clock." Clara scooped in Shadow, his body limp, eyes pleading, and they piled into the SUV, James with them, tires burning, racing back, the Shadow's eyes trailing, claws glinting in the dark. Sophie uploaded a plea, found Peter's heir. "We're breaking the curse," and replies poured in. A priest sharing a soul-unbinding ritual. The mansion loomed, doors blasted open. The clock's hum, a deafening scream, pendulum thrashing. Shadow stumbled inside, claws dragging, collapsing at the clock's base, blood pooling, his barks faint. Lucas jammed the gear into the clock's guts, runes flaring, knife hacking wires, sparks flying, Clara shouting the letter's words. "Break the heart, free the soul." The shadow surged through the foyer, claws slashing, Noah swinging a crate, wood splintering, Ellen tossing rune pages, slowing it, James chanting, "Peter, be free." The clock howled, gears seizing, and Shadow a final bark rang out, his body still, a blinding light erupting, the shadow shrieking, dissolving into ash, the house's hum fading. Lucas's chest heaved, the pendulum slowing, runes dimming, but James's whisper one last step chilled him. The curse clung, unbroken. Sophie's phone buzzed, posts flooding prayers, rituals, a lead to Peter's final resting place. Lucas gripped the knife, Clara cradling Shadow's body, Noah kicking debris, Ellen scanning the journal, James's eyes fierce, the mansion's silence a coiled trap, the hunter's curse still alive, but the community's leads and James's truth their only shot. Lucas stood over Shadow's lifeless body, the knife's icy blade trembling in his bloodied grip, the mansion's foyer a graveyard of splintered wood and ash, Clara's sobs cutting through the suffocating silence, Sophie clutching her phone, its screen flickering with the community posts, Noah kicking shattered crates, Ellen tearing through the journal's brittle pages, and James, Peter's grandson, his scarred face grim, growling. The curse isn't broken, Peter's soul is trapped. The clock's pendulum hung still, its red glow dimming, lion-carved walls pulsing, the air thick with decay, and Lucas's chest heaved. The journal's plea, break the heart a scream in his mind, Shadow's sacrifice, the gear they'd forced into the clock, all falling short. James shoved the journal at him, voice raw. Peter locked the clock's heart on with his shame find it, or it kills us all. Sophie's phone buzzed, posts flooding a priest's ritual, a grave tied to Peter, coordinates a mile east, but the floorboards cracked, a guttural rasp, Peter's soul erupting from the walls, the Shadow's eyes glinting in the dark. Lucas roared, "Where's the heart knife slashing air?" Ellen shouting. The clock's base digged deeper. Noah attacked the clock's panel, boots smashing wood, revealing a rusted lock. Lion and cross etched, the second key scorching Lucas's pocket. He jammed it in, gears screeching, but the shadow reformed, claws bursting through the floor, eyes blazing, lunging at Clara. Lucas tackled her, knife grazing the shadow's limb, black ichor spraying, Noah swinging a plank, splintering it, Ellen hurling rune pages, their light fading, James chanting, Peter, release us, the lock snapped, a hidden compartment exploding open, spilling a blood-crusted locket, a child's toy soldier, a letter scrawled in frantic ink. My shame cursed us. Peter's truth lies in his grave. The shadow howled, claws raking Lucas's back, blood soaking his shirt. Sophie screaming. The priest's ritual burned the locket at his grave. The mansion quaked, chandeliers crashing, walls splitting, the shadow's claws shredding beams, driving them back. Lucas snatched the locket, its heat searing, and shoved the family toward the door. Ellen yelling, cemetery, east. Now they sprinted, Noah gripping the journal, Sophie's phone guiding with posts. The shadows screeched, tearing the night, claws slashing trees, its form blurring, relentless. Lucas's boots pounded frozen earth, Clara clutching the letter, Noah's flashlight bouncing, Ellen lagging, her shout sharp, keep moving. The graveyard loomed, tombstones jagged, overgrown, James pointing, voice cracking, Peter's grave unmarked. Under the oak, Lucas dropped, digging, dirt flying, the locket burning his palm, the shadow's claws ripping the ground. Sophie shouting the ritual, burn the shame, free the soul. Clara struck a match, flame wavering, Lucas tearing the locket open, Peter's photo inside, faded, haunted, tossing it into the grave's mud, Clara's flame catching, smoke spiraling, the shadow shrieking, its form twisting, claws flailing, dissolving into ash, the mansion's hum dying, a final chime echoing, faint, broken. James collapsed, tears streaming. He's free. Sophie's phone flared, posts celebrating, a historian confirming Peter's unit, his name etched in records, cleared of traitor's shame. Lucas stood, blood dripping, knife heavy, Clara's hand on his arm, Noah and Sophie embracing, Ellen panting, James whispering, you did it. The graveyard stilled, stars piercing the fog, but Lucas's gaze drifted to the mansion, its silhouette empty, shadow's absence a blade in his gut. Sophie scrolled, posts offering tributes, a local group planning to honor Peter, but Clara's voice shook. Shadow, he saved us. Noah kicked a stone, eyes wet. He knew the whole time. Ellen flipped the journal, finding a sketch of the clock, its base marked, the heart's last lock. Lucas's jaw tightened. We go back one last time. They trudged to the mansion, doors gaping, the clock silent, its face cracked. Lucas knelt where shadow fell, knife prying the base, revealing a final compartment, a tiny box, lion etched, the key fitting, grinding, spilling a faded note. Peter's shame was my silence. His truth lives in you. A photo slipped out, Peter, old, smiling, free. The house exhaled, walls still, the curse shattered. Lucas clutched the note, Clara's hand on his, Sophie posting a final update, Noah carving Shadow's name into the clock's wood, Ellen nodding, James murmuring, rest, grandfather. The community's voices surged online, tributes pouring, Peter's name added to the family tree, Shadow's sacrifice a legend, the mansion now just stone, its secrets laid bare, the family whole, their heroes' truth eternal. The mansion's cracked walls glowed in the dawn's pale light, a silent husk purged of its curse, but Lucas's heart throbbed with grief. Shadow's absence a jagged scar, the knife still clenched in his bloodied hand, its blade dull now, Clara's grip on his arm anchoring him. Sophie's phone dim, its screen dark after days of relentless posts. Noah tracing his carving of Shadow's name into the clock's oak. Ellen cradling the journal like a relic. And James, Peter's grandson, clutching the faded photo of his grandfather. Free at last. His voice a whisper. It's done. The air was thick with dust. The foyer a battlefield of shattered beams, glass, and ash. The clock's gears frozen. Its red glow extinguished. Lion-carved walls still, no longer pulsing with malice. Online of the community's tributes poured in thousands honoring Peter. His name restored in war records, cleared of shame. A local historian vowing a plaque. A school planning to teach his story, but Lucas knelt by the clock, fingers brushing the note. Peter's truth lives in you, Shadow's blood still staining the floor. His sacrifice the spark that broke the house's chains. Clara's eyes glistened, voice cracking. We owe them Shadow. Peter a proper goodbye. Sophie scrolled her phone, finding a post from a local group. Voices from across the world, suggesting a ceremony at the graveyard to honor both heroes, to lay their spirits to rest. Noah's boot nudged a splintered crate, his voice rough, eyes wet. Shadow knew every secret, every corner of this place he led us through hell. Ellen opened the journal, its final page trembling in her hands. Peter's handwriting faint but clear. The house held my shame, but love tore it down. Lucas's jaw clenched, resolve hardening. We do it today, for them. They loaded the SUV, James climbing in, his scarred hands clutching Peter's ring, the drive to the graveyard swift, the oak tree towering over Peter's unmarked grave. Now a sacred altar. Shadow's courage etched in every memory. The community had gathered, drawn by the story's pull strangers, locals, a priest with a candle, a historian with a box of war medals, a teacher with students holding flowers, a veteran saluting, all there to honor a forgotten son and a boy who defied a curse. Lucas carried a hand-carved box, crafted from the mansion's salvaged wood. Shadow's collar nestled inside beside Peter's ring and dog tag, Clara's hands shaking as she set it in the grave. Her whisper fierce, "You saved us." Sophie stepped forward, voice steady, reading from her phone. For Peter, who survived war's betrayal, and Shadow, who faced the dark to bring us light. The priest lit the candle, its flame unwavering, chanting a blessing, smoke curling skyward. The crowd hushed, James's tears falling, his voice choked. Grandfather, you're home. Noah scattered dirt, his hands steady. Ellen added a rune page, its ink faded, a final shield. The historian placing a medal beside the box, engraved with Peter's unit, a symbol of redemption. The students laid flowers, their colors bright against the earth. The veteran kneeling, whispering, "Rest, soldier." The ceremony stretched, voices rising in a shared prayer. The priest's words weaving peace. The community's presence a wall against the past's pain. And Lucas felt the weight lift. Shadow's spirit close. Peter's truth alive. The crowd lingered, sharing stories, war tales, family secrets. Dogs who'd changed lives then dispersed, leaving the family under the oak. Clara's head on Lucas's shoulder. Sophie posting a final photo, captioned, "They're at peace, thank you all." The historian handed Lucas a folder, official documents sealing Peter's name in the family tree, a legacy unbroken. James taking a copy, vowing to carry it forward. They drove back to the mansion, its doors wide, the clock's face gleaming, no longer a captor, but a monument. Its oak warm under Lucas's touch as he traced Shadow's carving. Clara murmuring, "He's with Peter," running free. Noah and Sophie unloaded boxes, their laughter soft, a sign of healing. Ellen archiving the journal, planning to publish Peter's story. James speaking of a book, a way to keep his grandfather's fight alive. The mansion stood transformed, its halls no longer haunted, sunlight streaming through broken windows, dust settling, a home reborn. Lucas stepped outside, the knife sheathed, his wounds bandaged. Clara at his side, their hands linked, watching the horizon. The community's voices echoing online posts, videos, a fundraiser for a graveyard plaque, Shadow and Peter immortalized as legends. The family gathered in the foyer, James raising Peter's ring. To truth, to love. They nodded, hearts full, the clock ticking softly, its rhythm natural, a heartbeat of peace. Shadow's courage, Peter's redemption, their bond, a fire that burned away the dark, the dawn stretching wide, a new life forged from sacrifice, the mansion theirs, its story complete, a testament to heroes who fought and won, a forgotten son reclaimed, a loyal dog's final gift. From a haunted clock to a family reunited, this tale of war and redemption captivated us. Thanks for listening. Like, share, and subscribe with notifications on for more gripping stories.